You're listening to the Reaching Japan podcast. My name is James Miyashita. So glad that you're here today. In this podcast, we cover updates and news about what's currently happening in our lives and ministry. You can find us on the web at reachingjapan.com, facebook.com/reachingjapan, and twitter.com/reachingjapan. Now, if you haven't already, please leave us a review for this podcast so others can find it as well and join us on the journey of reaching Japan with the gospel. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's what we're going to be talking about. A few days ago on Facebook, I decided to see what people think what furlough is. I said, hey, so when someone says they're on furlough, a missionary, what do you think that means? And I had a bunch of responses. It was really interesting to see. On the one hand, we had people who were like, yeah, missionaries, they come to the States, they travel, raise money, and maybe see family and friends. And then I had some missionary people jump on there and say, it's super stressful, it's a lot of work, it's exhausting. But I'm super thankful for you guys who are listening to this podcast who make our furlough possible. It's kind of a misnomer, and we're going to be releasing a blog article about what furlough is for us here in a few days. But for our time in the States, it's going to be a time of recruiting, a time of representing Japan and raising awareness and trying to raise up laborers for the field and reporting to churches, as well as some time to get some spiritual refreshment as well. And we're really, really grateful that we're not having to do a big fundraising campaign this furlough. It's a short furlough. It's just 5 months. But because you guys faithfully support us, we're not having to go all over the country again like a deputation to raise funds. So thank you guys so much for doing that. It's been about a little over a week since we got to the States, and we have our apartment now. It's about 80% set up. We're trying to put some finishing touches. I'm not sure if I've ever made so many trips to Walmart consecutively in my life for day after day after day, just trying to get things set up. But it's just those little things that make life a lot easier and smoother. We're trying to at least settle in so we can be all in while we're in the States. It's been really neat, though. God has really blessed. Trent Cornwell, assistant pastor at Vision Baptist Church, helped us with getting the apartment. And Rosie's parents helped with, they reached out to their church and they assembled some furniture for us, like table, bed and stuff like that. So we would have something to start with. It really helped to cut down on cost. And then we've been making some goodwill trips to kind of piece together a few more things because it's just 5 months. So we're trying to keep it simple but livable and a place that we could invite people into and share life with. So we're trying to get readjusted, though. Man, the stores over here are huge. I feel like I get my exercise just walking around in Walmart. But our apartment's like 10 minutes from the church. We did that intentionally so we could be around and be involved in the life of the church and the mission board. It's been a challenge, though. Our kids picked up a stomach bug. Rosie's had it as well. And so Silas has been throwing up a little bit this week. And so it's been a little bit of a challenge taking care of that as well as trying to get set up. But he seems to be recovering. Last night he had a little bit of an episode as well. So pray for him. Pray for their adjustment. I think they're over jet lag for the most part. It's just now we're dealing with this stomach bug. So pray for that. Now, as we transition to our time in the States, Lord willing, I'm going to be helping a lot with our mission board and the church. It's been interesting to see how my perspective has changed on things that we could do and even the ideas because of the things that we've tried on the field, and now we can bring that know-how back to the States and at the church. Looking forward to being plugged in. It's so neat to be part of an active church that's working to evangelize the community and make disciples. So our big prayer request for you, our big prayer request that we would love for you to pray with us about is for us to find a good rhythm for daily life while on furlough. When in Japan we had a rhythm, we had everything in motion, but all that got broken with flying to the States and dealing with jet lag, and then setting up an apartment. It's a huge transition, and we want to be fully in, and we want to be very fruitful during our time in the States, but also restful, of course, to get the rest that we need. But pray that we can find a good daily, weekly rhythm so we can be more effective. I found that when I have a good rhythm in place, I'm more consistent in my devotions. I'm more consistent in my outside reading, and everything just flows a lot smoother. And now that Rosie's not in language school, she's like, okay, well, I don't go to school for the whole morning. What do I do? So we're thinking through creative ways to handle that time as well. So pray for us. Pray that we can find a good rhythm for daily life and weekly life, as we report to churches and recruit and try to get some rest. But thank you so much for praying for us. Thank you so much for keeping up with us. And if you'd like to reach out to us, as always, you know how to find us. Reach out on here or any other platform on the internet, and we'll try to get back to you. But that's a little bit of what's going on today, and our time transitioning into furlough. So that's a little bit of what's been going on here. Now, if you have any questions or comments about what we talked about today, I'd love to hear from you. I will do my best to answer those questions on this podcast. You can always reach me via email. My email address is james@reachingjapan.com. That's james@reachingjapan.com. We are honored to serve under the direction of Vision Baptist Church and Vision Baptist Missions in Alpharetta, Georgia. If you're looking for a way to take your next step in ministry or missions, please reach out to me. Thanks for tuning in today. We will see you next time.